Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Have you completed the homework?
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning. This question had given us homework. Completed or we'll do it now, children? Not done? Why no answer? Okay, let me show you the answer. In case you're finished, check your answer with what you see on the screen. Otherwise, do it now. No, you can do it later. You can just take a picture of the answer. What are these numbers called, children? What do we call these numbers? What are these numerical figures called? These numerical figures are called data. Okay, let's just have a recap of the definitions. So a collection of numerical figures, giving some particular type of information is called data. Data is simply the collection of numerical figures. And all the numerical figures should give you information about a specific kind. So it can be about the weights of 50 students. So here the information is about the weights. It's a particular type of information, weights of 50 students. Or it can be, the data can be about the heights of 30 students, heights of 30 students in a class. Or it can be about the marks scored by 30 students of class 7A. So in all these examples, data will be in the form of numbers. So when you collect the marks scored by 30 students in a class, your data will comprise of some numerical figures. Somebody's got 80 for 100, so you will have 80. Somebody's got 100 on 100, so you have 100, 80, 100, 95, 70, 65. So you will have a collection of numbers. Each number representing the mark scored by a student of the class. So a collection of numerical figures, numbers, numerical figures meaning numbers. So a collection of numerical figures giving some particular type of information. So as we just discussed, information may be about the marks scored by the students or heights or heights of some students, weights of students. So here the information is in numbers and the information is about some particular kind. You cannot have numbers, some of which are the marks scored by 30 students and some of which are the weights of 30 students and some of which are the heights of 30 students. You cannot put all these numbers together and call it data. Supposing a statistician meets 30 students of a class. He collects the details regarding the marks scored by them, their weights, that is a mark scored by 30 students, weights of 30 students, heights of 30 students. Now, individually, they form a data. So he has 3 different data with him. One data regarding the marks scored by 30 students, maybe in a particular test. Another data regarding the heights of 30 students, and another data regarding the weights of 30 students. So he's a statistician. He knows he should not mix the data. Now, for your knowledge, if we collected information of this sort and we put all the 90 numbers together, marks, weights, heights, everything, we put it together, we cannot call it data just because it is full of numbers. Just because it's a collection of numbers, you cannot call it data because the numbers don't represent one particular type of information. That number may represent marks or weight or height. So it is not, so in that collection of numbers, each number does not represent one particular type of information. As we understand, it may be that mark which you, a particular mark which you, I'm sorry, a particular number which you pick may represent the marks scored by a student, or may represent the height of a student, or may represent the weight of a student. So putting all this together is not data. Data is a collection of numerical figures, that is numbers, giving some particular type of information. And then we understood the meaning of the term raw data. Data in the original form is called raw data. So now if you see these examples, here in these numbers represent the heights of 11 players in a school. These numbers represent the heights in centimeter of 11 players in a school. So this is raw data. We've just met the 11 players and we have written down each of their heights in centimeter. So this is raw data. We just met the 11 players and we have recorded the heights of the 11 players in centimeters. So we've just recorded, nothing else we have done with this. We've just collected the information. So this is raw data. This is raw data because this is data in the original form. This is how it'll look like. Supposing you meet the 11 players and you record the heights of the 11 players, how will it look like? How will the data look like? So the first player 155 centimeters, second player 148 centimeters. You have just recorded the heights of 11 different players. This is how it look like. This is the data in the original form. Original form. This is called raw data. Data obtained in the original form is called raw data. Here you can see an example which shows the marks obtained by 10 students of a class out of 50. Am I audible, children? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we just recall two terms, data and raw data. Data and raw data. Can somebody try? What are the two phrases in the definition of data? Data. Okay, let me tell you that. So data, when we say data, it is made up of numerical figures. That is one thing. And it gives information of a particular type. These are the two phrases. These are two things which with which you can understand data. If you want to define data or you want to explain what is data to somebody, these are the two phrases which you should keep in mind. Data is made up of numerical figures. That is one thing. Data means it's a collection of numerical figures. Data means it's a collection of numerical figures. You should remember that. And all the numerical figures should represent some particular type of information. That's all. So data. So these are the key phrases. Data is a collection of numerical figures. And data should be of some particular information of a particular type. So a collection, I think now it should be clear, a collection of numerical figures giving some particular type of information is called data. So it should be made up of numerical figures and it should represent some particular type of information, maybe the marks, heights, weights. Now, what is an array? What is an array? So you have some numbers in data, right? We have some numbers in data. When you have some data, that means you have some numbers in front of you. Now, when you arrange these numbers or when you arrange these numerical figures in the ascending or descending order, it's called an array. Array is basically arranging the numbers in the data. You have some data with you. In the data, the numerical figures are not in any particular order. You've just collected its raw data, right? So when you arrange, when you arrange these numerical figures, that is data. Data has numerical figures in it. So the data which you collected, so you collected the heights of 11 players of a school. If you arrange those numbers in the ascending or descending order, that means you have put it in the form, you put the data in the form of an array. Arranging the numerical figures of a data. Arranging the numerical figures of a data in ascending or descending order is called an array. Do we get that, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So arranging the numerical figures of a data. Data has only numerical figures. Data has nothing else. Data is a collection of numbers of some particular type of information. If you arrange these numbers in the ascending or descending order, it's called an array. Now further, after arranging the numbers in the form of an array, further if you tabulate, meaning if you when you represent the data in the form of a table, when you represent the data in the form of a table, that is called tabulation of data. We will see that. I think we already saw one question like this. So now today's class, maybe because earlier class you were just introduced to the different terms, so it's completely new to you. So don't worry if you've forgotten, you're just able to understand now. It happens because when terms are completely new, you need to revise. It should be reinforced for you to remember. But after today's class, children, make sure you revise, and the next class you should be able to tell me. Cannot be reinforced again. Okay, you should reinforce it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So tabulation of data. Arranging the data in a systematic form in the form of a table. Tabulation means table. Table tabulation. So when you put the data in the form of a table, there's a particular way. You cannot, it's not a table like you just do whatever you want. It's not like that. There is a particular format. So when you arrange the data in the form of a table, when you represent the data in a table, it's called tabulation of data. You have some numbers with you. When you represent them using a table, then it's called tabulation of data. Now, what is observation? So in that data, so what do we have in data? We have some numerical figures. Every numerical figure in a data is called an observation. So this is raw data. 147 is an observation of this data. 165 is an observation of this data. 148 is an observation of this data. So observation is basically each numerical figure. Each of them is called an observation of the data. Each of them represent the observation of the data. Now, frequency is the number of times a particular observation. Now you understand what observation is. Observation is each numerical figure is called observation. Each numerical figure in the data is called observation. And what is frequency? The number of times a particular observation occurs. So supposing the observation 145. it happens 3 times. 3 is the frequency of 145. If in the data,
Ma'am, we can also.
yes, Nandana.
Ma'am, in 45 we can also write it as 9 and 5.
45 you can write it as.
Ma'am, we can use. Now we tell 45 is 3, no, ma'am.
Huh?
It can come also in 5 and 9, ma'am.
Is your question, can we write 45 as 9 into 5?
No, ma'am, if 45 will come in 9.
Or can somebody tell me what Nandana's question is? I'm not getting her. I'm sorry, Nandana. Yes. Can somebody tell me what her question is?
Ma'am, she is telling for will 45 come in 9, ma'am?
Okay. Nandana, you just hold your question for the time being. Maybe as we go on, just ask me again. I don't want to spend time on this now. Just have your question with you. Just ask me at a later time. I don't know why I'm not able to get your question. I'm sorry. So frequency is the number of times. Frequency is the number of times a particular observation occurs in the data. Now, tally marks we sort in a particular answer, so not repeating this. Now coming to statistics. What is statistics? So it's a subject that deals with the collection of data, organization, analysis, and interpretation. This process is in the same order. Like you wake up, you brush your teeth, you have your milk, and then you go for your bath. You get ready to school, have breakfast. Then the automan or your school van comes. So the order is this. You cannot change this order cannot be changed. In the same way, the statistician first collects the data, then organizes the data. Organizes meaning he presents the data in the form of a table or array, whatever. So collection, organizing, arranging. Organizing is basically arranging. Collection, organization, analysis. Then you study the data. That's why he has collected. He's collected the data for some specific reason. So based on his intention of collecting data, he will do the analysis and then he'll give us conclusions. Interpretation is conclusions. Coming to conclusions. So like saying, oh, most students of this class are very tall, or most students of this class are obese. Something like that. So depending on the data, he comes to conclusions. It is a subject that deals with the collection, organization. You can also call it presentation. So data is first collected, then it is organized in the form of a table, and then the statistician analyzes the data. The statistician analyzes the data, and then he comes to conclusions. Interpretation. So this is what is the study of the subject statistics. Collection, organization, analysis, and interpretation of numerical data is called statistics. Yes. This one we did in the class. This was given as homework. If you finished your homework, please check your answer. Now we need to represent only these numbers: 148, 150, 152, 154. These are the only 4 values we see here. 150 happens 3 times. So you don't have to write 150 3 times. There is a value 148, then 150, then 152 and 154. That's what you should show here. And what is this 150? It's the height of a particular girl in the class. See here, given below the heights in centimeters of 16 girls in a class. So 148, there's a girl in the class who's 148 centimeters tall. There's another girl in the class who's 150 centimeters tall. There is another girl in the class who's also 150 centimeters tall. There's another girl in the class who's also 150 centimeters tall, and so on. So 148, so write these values 148, 150, 152 and 154 here. These represents the height, these represent height in centimeters. And then the number of girls, which is a frequency, number of girls. 150 happens once, so 1, frequency is 1. 150, 148 happens once, 150 happens 3 times, so the frequency is 3. The number of times an observation occurs is called the frequency. The number of times an observation, 150 is an observation. The observation 150 happens 3 times. So 3 is called the frequency of the observation 150. 3 is the frequency of the observation 150. Similarly, if you count, 152 happens 7 times. 152 is an observation. It's an observation of this data. 152 is an observation. And the observation 152 happens 7 times. So 7 is the frequency of the observation 152. And 154 happens 5 times. So what is 154, children? What do you call 154? It is an
it is an data.
No.
It is a numerical number.
Yeah, what do you call that numerical figure? Yeah, what do you call the numerical figure?
Ma'am, data.
Everything is data. The collection is data. 144, 148, 150, 152, 154. All these numbers form the data. What is 154 in it? (154) is an observation. 154 is an observation. What about 152? What is 152?
It's an observation, ma'am.
It's an observation. What about 150?
Ma'am, it is an observation.
It is a
observation.
What about 148?
It is an observation, ma'am.
What do you call all these numerical figures?
Data.
Data. All these numerical figures collectively, it's called data. Collectively means taken together, it is called data. Each of them is called an observation. What is the frequency of 154?
3.
The frequency of 154. Count how many times 154 happens.
Ma'am, can I say?
Yes.
Ma'am, 5, ma'am.
So what is the frequency?
Ma'am?
What is the frequency of 154?
Ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am.
What is the frequency of 154?
Ma'am, 5.
5. The frequency of 154 is 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Mritika,
Ma'am?
are you following, Mritika? Since you're new to the class, I'm just asking
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
You're following?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you are there from the start of this chapter, right? From the start of
Yes, ma'am.
data handling, right? Okay. Okay. Now let me take an example to explain this slide. You see something here, mean of ungrouped data. So mean is an average. Let me explain the slide with the help of a question like this. Now, children, supposing, you say in the month of April, in South India, in the month of April, normally the temperature is maybe from 35 to 45 degrees Celsius. In South India, during the month of April, the temperature is anywhere from 35 to 45 degrees Celsius. On some days it may be, so we are talking about the 30 days in the month of April. We are talking about the 30 days in the month of April. So April 1st, the temperature would have been, say, 37.8 degrees Celsius. 2nd of April, 42 degrees Celsius. 3rd of April, 39 degrees Celsius. So you will have 30 different numbers representing the temperature in Celsius for the month of April, say of 2021, of this year, current year 2021. You have 30 numbers with you. You have 30 numbers. Each number says the temperature on a particular day. On a particular day for the month of April. Now, when you look at those numbers, when you look at those numbers, now you want to tell your friend who lives in North India. You want to tell your friend, you want to talk to her or him regarding the temperature, in this month. So you will not, over a telephonic conversation, or maybe you're catching up on some online platform, you cannot tell your friend or the temperatures on all the 30 different days. You cannot read out like on April 1st here the temperature was this one, on April 2nd the temperature was this, on April 3rd the temperature was this. You want to find some number that can roughly represent all the 30 numbers. You definitely don't want to bug your friend by reading out the temperatures on all the 30 days in that particular month. So you're trying to find one number which can represent the entire, you're trying to find one number that can represent all the 30 numbers. Like how we have a class representative, a class monitor. A class representative represents all the students of the class. Class representative or the school captain is one student who represents the school. So maybe the sports team captain, cricket team captain. So we have one person. We have one person representing a group. So like how we have one person representing sorry, why am I saying percent? Like how we have one person representing a group, maybe a class or a cricket team or any other sports team. In the same way, you are trying to find one number that can represent all the 30 numbers. You want to find one number that can represent all the 30 numbers. Now you will not say, while talking to your friend, you will not say that the temperature was, is roughly 25 degrees Celsius. You will not say that because temperatures were varying from 35 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. 35 and 45. Then how can you say that the temperature was roughly 25 degrees Celsius? It's nowhere in that range. So you feel, okay, let me tell her 40 because it's kind of in the middle. It's not 35, it's not 45. 40 degrees Celsius is kind of in the middle. So maybe you will tell your friend that in the month of April 2021, the temperature here was roughly 40 degrees Celsius, was roughly 40 degrees Celsius. Or you will say on an average, the temperature here in the month of April was 40 degrees Celsius. It actually ranged from 35 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. On some days it was 36, then some days 37, 36.8, 42.3, 44.7. So it was anywhere between 35 and 45. So as we were saying, you will not bug your friend by telling all the 30 temperatures. So you want to find one number that represents all the 30 numbers, and that is called the average of the data. And that's called the average of the data. The average usually lies in the, it tends to be in the middle of all the observations. It tends to be the middlemost value of all the observation. And that is why we call average. We also call average as a measure of central tendency. A measure of central tendency. Well, you don't have to really, bother about this phrase measure of central tendency now. For now, you just understand that we are looking for one number that can represent all the 30 numbers. And that one number which represents all the 30 numbers is called the average. Average represents a collection of numbers. Average represents a collection of numbers. And in statistics, we have three different averages. In averages, we have three different averages: mean, median, and mode. Mean is the most common average used. Mean is the most common average used. So basically, average is a representative. Average. When you say the average of this data, that means you're finding. So again, going back to the same example, we have 30 numbers. You don't want to read all the 30 temperatures, different temperatures to your friend on the phone. So you want to use one particular number that can represent all the 30 numbers. And that one number which represents all the 30 numbers is called the average of the data. That's called the average temperature. So you will say the average temperature for the month of for the month of April. Here, the average temperature for the month of April was 40 degrees Celsius. Finished. So that 40 degrees Celsius represents all the 30 numbers. Okay. So average is one numerical figure that represents the entire data. It usually lies somewhere in the middle of all the numbers. Average is a representative of the data. We have three different averages: mean, median, and mode. Now we'll see mean, how to find the mean of a data. So see here, we have some numbers. 7.6, 6.8, 8.5, 9.4, 5.9, 6.4, 9.1, and 4.7. But we need to find how many numbers we have. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 8 numbers we have. We need to find the average of these 8 numbers, or we have to find the mean of these 8 numbers. Simply add all the numbers and divide by 8 to get the average or to get the mean of this data. Simply add all the numbers and divide by 8. Sum of all the observations by number of observations. That's what you see here. Mean is equal to sum of the given observations by the number of given observations. Sum meaning you'll have to add all these numbers divided by how many observations are there? 8. Sum of all these numbers by the number of observations, 8, will give you the mean. So see here. Sum of all the observations, sum of the given numbers, add all the numbers given. So see here. Sum of the given numbers is equal to add all the numbers. It's 58.4. Number of observations, 8. So mean is equal to sum of the given numbers or sum of all the observations by number of observations. (58.4 by 8, which is 7.3. How do we divide, children? How will you divide? Multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10. What will you get? Okay, this is decimal division. You must know how to perform the long division. What you can do is if you want to get rid of the decimal point, you can do the division straight away. 58.4 divided by 8. So 8 7s are 56. 8 7s are 56. 2 remains. And then 4 has to come down, but it is after the decimal point. So you'll have to keep a decimal point in the quotient and bring down 4. Now we have 24. 8 3s are 24. 0 is the remainder. So 7.3. Otherwise, you can multiply the numerator and denominator by 10. You can multiply the numerator by 10 and denominator by 10. Why? To get rid of the decimal point. To get rid of the decimal point. So that will give you 584 by 80. 584 by 80. Then you simplify. Now you don't have the decimal point. Now you simplify. And then you have to do the division. After simplifying, you'll have a fraction. You'll have to divide and find the value. So add all the observations and divide by the number of observations to find the mean of the given data. Is this fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me. How will you find the mean pocket expenses per day? All of you work this and tell me the answer. The pocket expenses. The pocket expenses of Rahul during a week are rupees 15.40, rupees 18, rupees 16.50, rupees 14.75, rupees 12.60, and rupees 17.25. Add all these numbers.
Ma'am, we should add all these numbers and divide with 6.
Divide by?
6, ma'am.
6. Okay. Do you understand that, Nandana?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. What about the others? You should add all the numbers and divide by 6. Is that right? To find the mean, to find the mean pocket expenses per day, to find the mean. See, it's nothing but to find the mean of the data. See here, the word mean. To find the mean pocket expenses per day, that is to find the mean of the data, you need to add all these observations. Add all these numbers and divide by 6. Why by 6? Because there are 6 observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you can take a screenshot, children. Maybe you can finish it at home.
Took a screenshot, ma'am.
Yeah, so add all the numbers. See here. Sum of the pocket expenses. Add all the numbers. Total number of days, because this is per day, no pocket expense per day. This is on a particular day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, and sixth day. Sunday he did not spend anything. He was at home. So here the number of days 6. These numbers represent the pocket expenses of Rahul during a particular week. So there are 6 days, total number of days, 6 days. Number of days, 6 days. The sum of the pocket expenses. Sum of the pocket expenses meaning sum meaning add. Sum of the pocket expenses meaning when you add the pocket expenses. When you add, see sum. When you add, you get this total number of days. In a week, there are 7 days, but here we are given as expenses only for 6 days. So 6. Don't take 7 because it is a week, because we have only 6 values here. It's not minus, children. It's mean pocket expenses. Hyphen it is. It's hyphen, not minus. Okay, don't get confused. Mean pocket expenses. It's a hyphen here. Total pocket expenses by total number of days. So see here, it's not a fixed way of writing. It depends on the information given. You can change it. So here mean pocket expenses is equal to the total pocket expenses, correct, by the total number of days. You can alter the formula according. But what you should do is you should add all the numbers and write it in the numerator and write the number of observations in the denominator. So based on this situation, the numerator is total pocket expenses or the sum of all the pocket expenses. So you can write that in your own words. It's not that you should write total pocket expenses only. You can write sum of the pocket expenses in the numerator divided by the total number of days. So what is meant by this? On an average, he spends 15 rupees 75 paise in a day. On an average. See, it's a middlemost value. On an average, see, Rahul spends 15 rupees on a particular day, 18, 16, 14, 12, 17. So if you want to represent Rahul's expenses for that week by one number, so you will say Rahul roughly spends, roughly meaning on an average, Rahul spends 15 rupees 75 paise per day. On an average, Rahul spends 15 rupees 75 paise per day. Here it's a division that's very important, children. Don't use a calculator and finish the division. Please let me know in the next class if you were able to add comfortably. You need to arrange these numbers carefully. These are all these numbers have a decimal point. Arrange the numbers carefully and add them. See if you're getting the total 94.5 without any problem. The answer may look easy, but here this answer involves adding some decimal numbers, which you should be able to do very comfortably. And also a division process, 94.5 divided by 6. You should also know this division correctly. So if you have trouble in addition or in this division, let me know in the next class. Addition, division. Maybe next class in the same slide, I'll include the division process also. So we can check. You do the division process. Next class, I'll also include the division process here in the slide. So we'll check our answers. So we understood, children, how to find the mean pocket expenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Mean pocket expenses. Just add all the numbers given to you and divide by the number of observations, 6. Add all the values and divide by 6. And the formula is not one, it's not that it should be written like this only. You can write it according to the situation. So here it's about pocket expenses. So say mean pocket expenses is equal to, that word mean should be there. Mean pocket expenses is equal to, or like mean height, you can say mean height, mean weight, mean marks. If the data is regarding marks, then we say mean marks. If the data is regarding heights of some students, we say mean height. Like that. Mean pocket expenses is equal to, should add all the numbers. So total pocket expenses divided by the total number of days. Take a picture, children. I think you can take a picture of this one. See here, mean height. Taken a picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Others? Ritika, Matthew, Anugraha. What information is given?
Took, ma'am.
Okay, what information is given in question number 3?
Ma'am, there are 7
Height,
players,
ma'am.
ma'am. They given the kite, ma'am.
Okay, so they have given the heights of 7 players. So how do we find the mean height?
Ma'am, we should add all the numbers and divide with 7, ma'am.
Divide by 7. Okay, and the answer will be in centimeter because it's height. The answer and the heights are given in centimeters. The final answer, the mean height will be in centimeter. So see here, the mean height. That means on an average, the players are 170 centimeters tall. Roughly, the players are 170 centimeters tall. Now, who can explain the table? How many workers weigh 60 kgs? How many workers weigh 60 kgs?
4 workers.
4 workers. How many workers weigh 69 kgs?
2 workers.
2 workers. How many workers weigh 63 kgs?
3, ma'am.
workers.
3 workers. So that is what the table is about. The table shows, in the first column, we have the weights, the different weights in this particular data and the number of workers. And the data is about 12 workers. This table shows the weights of 12 different workers. Add the numbers 4, 3, 2, 2, and 1. What do you get? 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. When you add those numbers, what do you get?
Ma'am, we get 12 workers.
12. It should be 12 because The table, it was, see the question, the following table shows the weights of 12 workers in a factory. 12 workers, the number of workers, 12.
Ma'am, we can also do by all the three number, all the, ma'am, for all the 5 numbers and divided by 12.
No. That's what I'll tell you. There are 60 happens 4 times. 60, 60, 60, 60. 4 times we have 60. It's not only 160. It's not in the data. We don't have 60 once. We have 64 times. We have 63 3 times. That's the meaning. We have 12 different numbers. We have 12 numbers in which we have 4 60s, 3 63s, 2 66, and 2 69s, and 1 72. We need to add all these numbers and divide by 12. Not just 60, 63, 66, 69, and 72. That will be only 5 numbers. No, 5 divided by 12. 5 numbers, sum of 5 numbers. The meaning is this number 60 happens 4 times in the data. See, there are 12 numbers, weights of 12 workers. So how will it look like? How will the data look like? There'll be 12 different numbers. 12 numbers. Each number will represent the weight of a particular worker. So if you see among the 12 numbers, you will find 64 times, 63 3 times, 66 2 times, 69 2 times, and 72 once. So to find the mean, weight, because here it's regarding the weight, right? To find the mean weight, we have a formula that says mean is equal to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. We'll understand what it means. This is the question. Now, these values are called the xi values. The information is regarding the weight. The information is regarding the weights of 12 workers. We call that, so the data is regarding the weight. So we call that column xi, the xi column, xi. So this one is x1, this is x2, this is x3, this is x4, and this is x5. Number of workers, it's about the frequency, 4 workers, 3 workers, 2 workers, and so on. So frequency, we call it the fi column, frequency, fi column. We have only 2 columns. This number of workers, we call it the fi column. The data, weight, xi column, xi and fi. So this is f1, frequency 1, frequency 2, f2, f3, f4, f5. We prepare in the answer, in the solution, we prepare a third column called the fi xi column, fi into xi, fi into xi. What do we do there? We multiply 60 into 4, 240. 63 into 3, 189. Now continue. How did we get 132?
Ma'am, we multiply 66 into 2.
66 into 2, 132. Next. After that?
Ma'am, and 69 into 2, 138. And 71 into 1, 72. 72 into 1, 72.
72 into 1, 72. So we multiply the xi value with the corresponding fi value. So like this, 60 into 4, 63 into 3, 66 into 2, 69 into 2, 72 into 1. We write the products here. That is the fi xi column, fi xi. We multiply the frequency with the corresponding xi. This is the first frequency, this is the first xi value. Multiply those two. Write the product here. Now this one is read, or this one is pronounced as sigma. Sigma. Say sigma.
Sigma.
Sigma. S-I-G-M-A. Yeah, S-I-G-M-A. Sigma. Like we have A, B, C, D in English. Like we have the 26 letters in the English alphabet. Sigma is a Greek letter. It's a letter in the Greek alphabet. Greek language, Greek alphabet. Like in English language, we have 26 alphabets. We have 26 letters in the English alphabet. Similarly, sigma is a letter in the Greek language, Greek alphabet. And in statistics, we use sigma to, which means the total of. In statistics, when we use sigma, it stands for the total of summation, S-U-M-M-A-T-I-O-N, summation meaning adding up, finding the total of something. Okay, sigma, it's pronounced sigma, which in statistics means summation or the total of. Okay, so when you add all the Fi values, we call it sigma Fi. When you add all the Fi values, we call it sigma Fi, because total of all the Fi values, sigma Fi. The total of all the Fi values. So when you add all this, you get 12. And when you add this Fi-Xi column, so when you find the total of all these numbers, we call it sigma. The heading, column heading is Fi-Xi. So sigma Fi-Xi. Why we write sigma is because we are adding. We're finding the total of this column. We're finding the total of this column. In this column, we have these numbers. We're finding the total of these numbers. So 240 plus 189 plus 132 plus 138 plus 72 is 771. 240 plus 189 plus 132 plus 138 plus 72 is 771. The total of the Fi-Xi column. The total of the Fi-Xi column. So sigma Fi-Xi. Sigma Fi-Xi. Is 771. And the total of the Fi column, sigma Fi. We're finding the total of these two columns. So we use this symbol sigma, which means the total of the Fi column, the total of the Fi-Xi column. The total of the Fi column is 12. Sigma Fi is 12. The total of the Fi-Xi column, sigma Fi-Xi is 771. Now the mean weight, we have to find the mean weight. Mean weight is equal to sigma Fi-Xi divided by sigma Fi. Sigma Fi-Xi divided by sigma Fi. Sigma Fi-Xi divided by sigma Fi. So 771 divided by 12. So on performing the long division, you will get 64.25 kilograms. So the mean weight of the workers is 64.25 kilograms. When you divide, you will get 64.25. But we add a 0 because when it is kilogram, okay, this means 64 kgs and 250 grams. We usually use 3 place of decimal. After the decimal point, we wish to have 3 digits when the unit is kgs. When the unit is kg or kilogram, we wish to have 3 digits after the decimal point, so that you can make out the value in grams. So it is 64 kgs and 250 grams, not 25 grams, 250 grams. You should make it 3 digits and read it. 250 grams. 64.25 is not 64 kgs and 25 grams. If it is 25 grams, it will be 025. 025 is 25 grams. When you have only 25, add a 0. You can always add a 0. 250 kilograms. So 64.250 kilograms means 64 kilograms and 250 grams.
Ma'am, it is like 300.2 means 300 rupees 2 paise.
Sorry, 300?
Ma'am, it's like 300.2 means 0.2 rupees means 300 rupees 2 paise.
No, it's 20 paise. When it's paise and rupees, you should always have 2 digits after the decimal point. Because 1 rupee is 100 paise, right? 100 paise. In 100, we have 2 zeros. So after the decimal point, we should have 2 digits.
Okay,
1
ma'am.
rupee is 100 paise. In 100, we have 2 zeros. So when a number represents money in rupees, like you said, 300.2 rupees, 300.2. You must, after the decimal point, you should have 2 digits, but you have only 1 digit 2. So add a 0. 0.20 rupees 300.2. After the decimal point, there's only 1 digit 2. So you should read it as rupees 300.20. Why? Because after the decimal point, you should have 2 digits. So 20, not 2 zeros, 2 and 0, 20. So it is 300 rupees and 20 paise. If it is 2 paise, it will be 300.02. 300.0 rupees, 300.02 means 300 rupees and 2 paise.
Okay, ma'am.
0.02 is 2 paise. Simply 0.2. Simply 0.2 means 0.20. 0.20. You should have only 1 0. Then you'll have 2 digits 20. So 20 paise. Take a picture, children. Complete all this by the next class.
Took a screenshot, ma'am.
Yeah. Now the following table shows a number of misprints, wrongly, printing. Number of misprints in various pages of a book containing 300 pages. The following table shows, so this is tabulation of data. This is tabulation of data. You can see the data is represented in the form of a table. So this table shows the number of misprints in 300 pages of a particular book. So when you add all these numbers, you will get 300. You should get 300 because 300 pages. So the total of this column should be 300. Okay, 154 pages, no misprints. In not in the order, not the first 154 pages. It's not like that. Out of 300 pages, 154 pages need not be in the order. In fact, it's not in the order also. Some 154 pages did not have any misprint. Everything was perfectly, correctly printed. 95 pages, in 95 pages, there was one misprint. Something which was wrongly printed, one misprint. In 36 pages, 2 misprints. in 36 pages, 36 different pages, there were per page there were 2 misprints. Something which was wrongly printed. So in 2 pages, there were 5 misprints. So say in these 2 pages, in one of these pages, say there was the word lion. It was written as LOIN instead of LION. So that's a misprint. Then maybe the word cold, 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 was misprinted as CALD. Well, typing some error. The person knows COLD is cold, but by mistake while typing it is CALD. It's a misprint. Like that. So like that, 5 different words were misprinted, wrongly printed. Now we need to find the mean misprints per page. The mean misprints per page. So tell me which is the XI column, which is the FI column. Which of the 2 columns represent frequency?
Ma'am, the number of misprints.
Number of misprints is what?
Ma'am,
XI or FI?
Ma'am, it's frequency.
The data is
XI.
regarding misprints. The
XI.
data. Sorry.
Ma'am, it's FI.
I think you're saying XI. Okay. The
Ma'am,
data.
it's FI.
FI. Okay, we'll see that. So the identifying the XI and FI column is very important. Otherwise, you will not get the correct answer. Now the data is regarding the misprints. The data is not regarding the number of pages. It's regarding the misprints. It's regard the data, like how you say the data is about the weights. Weight can be about 30 students, 40 students, 50 students, but it is regarding the weight, or it is regarding the height, or it is regarding the marks. The data pertains to some particular thing, right? That one will be the XI column. So here the data is regarding the misprints, wrongly printed words. The data is regarding the misprints. So that will form the XI column. Zero misprints, 1 misprint, 2 misprints, 3 misprints. The data is regarding the misprints, so that will form the XI column. Number of pages, 154 pages, number of pages. So the data is regarding the misprint, so that will form the XI column. Automatically, number of pages will be the FI column. The total of the FI column should be equal to 300 pages. The total of the FI column should be equal to 300. The total of the frequency column should be 300, and XI column is about the misprints. The data is regarding the misprints. Like if it is about the weights of some students, in whichever column we have weights, that will be the XI column. The data is regarding the age, height, weight, marks. That column will be the XI column. The other one will be the FI column. So here the data is regarding the misprints. So 0 misprint, 1 misprint, 2 misprints, 3 misprints, 4 misprints, 5 misprints. This will form the XI column, XI. And this will form the FI column, FI column. Now what's the new column which we have to find? In the answer, what's a new column which we have to find?
Ma'am, we should add all the numbers.
No, we need to find one new column, right? in the question we have the xi and fi column. What is that new column which we need to prepare?
Ma'am, the mean.
No. The new column which we have to prepare. The xi fi column.
Xi into fi.
Yeah, xi into fi. We need to prepare the xi into fi column. Okay, so see here. So we need to prepare the xi into fi into xi column. You can write it both ways, xi into fi or fi into xi. Fi xi. So what do we do? 0 into 154, 0. 0 into 154 is 0. 1 into 95 is 95. 2 into 36 is 72. 3 into 7 is 21. 4 into 6, 24. 5 into 2, 10. Fi xi. Now we need to find the total of this column, sigma fi xi. The total of all these numbers is 222. Then we need to find the total of the frequency column. The total of the frequency column, sigma fi, which is 300. Now the mean misprints per page or the mean misprints will be equal to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. The total of this column by the total of this column. Sigma fi xi by sigma fi. So 222 by 300. So all about decimal division. 222 by 300, which is 0.74. Any questions, children? Take a picture of this. Please complete all this by the next class.
Took a screenshot, ma'am.
All right. This is also, no, this we have to. Okay, this is a different one. You cannot do this. We'll do this in the next class. Question number 3 we'll do in the next class. So since the data is regarding the misprints, that will be the xi column. Number of pages will be the fi column. We need to create this new column fi xi, wherein we multiply the xi value with the corresponding fi value. Total of this is sigma fi xi. And the total of the frequency column is sigma fi. Now the mean misprints per page, that's what we'll have to find. See here, find the mean misprints per page. Find the mean misprints per page. So the mean misprints per page will be sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Now tell me that formula, children. Sigma, all of you say that sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Let's see if you can pronounce that.
Ma'am, tell again.
Yeah, just read that formula.
Sigma f into x.
Sigma
F into x, ma'am.
sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Repeat.
Sigma fi into
x
xi
by
by
sigma
fi.
Yeah. Sigma fi xi. You don't have to say into. Sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Try again.
Sigma fi xi by sigma fi.
Yeah. Sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Nandana, you wanted to ask me something, no? You can, maybe I'll try to understand now. Children, anyways, that's it for today's session, children. Thank you so much. Please complete all this by the next class on Monday. And some exams on simple equations have been enabled. Please complete the exams by Monday.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, children. Yes, Nandana, what's your doubt?